ever done in his life. What's the other one?
Yeah.
I'd like to know maybe the number one. Also, his wife told him not to do this, and he didn't listen to her. So, moral of the story is what?
Listen to your wife.
There we go.
Okay. He also dropped an F-bomb on the NFL Network. Maybe that was the stupidest thing. So he was competing for a few things there. Listen, he's happy. His Eagles won it all. The Patriots offense, 613 total yards. Unbelievable effort in a loss. Let's take a look at that.
Proud of the way our players, coaches, everybody competed. Just wasn't quite enough.
Tom Brady in Super Bowl number 8. They wanted this one more than any.
He throws to the middle of the end zone. Touchdown, Gronkowski! And the Patriots strike first. Brady takes the snap, play fakes to White. He throws it down the right side for Hogan. He's open. He leaps. He catches. He tumbles into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots!
Better keep scoring, Felix. Number 12's back again in another Super Bowl.
Backs up, a lob for Gronkowski, left, reaches out, extends, makes the grab as he dives to the pylon. Touchdown, Patriots, as they tie Super Bowl 52.
You show up and you try to win, and sometimes you lose, and that's the way it goes.
With Gronk's 2 touchdowns last night, he now has 12 career touchdown catches in the postseason. That's the most by a tight end in NFL history. In fact, Jerry Rice, the only player to have caught more in a postseason. Gronk just finished his 8th season. He's only 28 years old, in his prime, though the questioning took an unexpected turn postgame.
I don't know how you heard that, but I mean, I'm definitely going to look at my future, for sure. I'm going to sit down the next couple of weeks and see where I'm at.
Rob, what would make you retire?
I'm not ready for these type of questions right now. I mean, I'm just going to sit down, reflect on the season, probably talk to my teammates. We fought all year long, all the receivers, running backs, linemen. I mean, we put all the work in together. So I'm just going to reflect on the season, proud of the boys, and just see what happens.
Joined by NFL insider Field Yates, and welcome to this conversation here, Field. As you could see that Gronk was surprised by that question. The look on his face said it all. What do you know about his future?
Well, I'd say this, that no Patriots people that I've spoken with had gotten any indication prior to last night that Gronk has considered or is considering retirement. I would add this, though, is that this is a time where players in the NFL are as aware of the health risks involved with playing this game as they ever have been. And just 2 weeks and a day ago, Rob Gronkowski suffered a concussion in a massive hit delivered by Barry Church of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, there are some circumstances that are worth noting, including the fact that how the question is framed can often dictate how a player or a coach responds to said question. And Bill Belichick actually just moments ago was on a conference call with the local media in New England and noted that 15 minutes after a game, not exactly prime asking time for players given the amplitude of the emotions that are involved. So do I think Rob Gronkowski is going to retire? I do not. Do I dismiss it when a player suggests retirement at all? No, because we have seen shocking retirements in the NFL in recent seasons, whether it was Patrick Willis or fellow linebacker in San Francisco, Chris Borland. We have seen players walk away from the game at times where no one saw it coming. At the same time, I think the Patriots and many people are expecting Gronk back for many years going forward.
Yeah, and I think people don't always realize how tough that tight end position is. Gronk is this big guy. Everyone thinks, oh, he's fine. Maybe there is some wear and tear there. Okay, meanwhile, the other big Patriots news has everything to do with cornerback Malcolm Butler. And he did not play a defensive snap in last night's game. Bill Belichick said that he made that decision to give the Pats the best chance to win. Bill Belichick has now come back and said a little more, but here's what Butler said after the game first.
I don't know. They gave up on it. It is what it is. It was the coach's decision. I was just doing my job, supporting my teammates. I mean, I had nothing but great things to say about the organization. Great organization. They gave me the opportunity. I don't know what it was. I guess I wasn't playing good or they didn't feel comfortable. I don't know. I could have changed that game, though.
I feel that way. What happens now, Malcolm? Unrestricted free agent?
I ain't Miss Cleo, so I can't tell the future.
Okay, and new on SportsCenter right now. Here was Bill Belichick moments ago on a conference call. This is what he said in response to the Malcolm Butler quote. I respect Malcolm's competitiveness. I'm sure he felt like he could have helped. In the end, we have to make the decisions that are best for the football team. That's really all I can say about that. So, Field, Coach Belichick just commenting on that. As you see this situation unfold, it just continues to get weirder. What exactly is going on here?
You know, the weird part is, or perhaps the takeaways that we may never know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the last time Bill Belichick is required to meet with the media for potentially months. He never speaks at the combine anymore, and we might see him at OTAs and minicamp, but at that point, water under the bridge. As a matter of fact, Malcolm Butler could be playing elsewhere by that point. So I think at the end of the day, if this was a strict punishment for behavior, we would not have seen Malcolm Butler even dress for this game or playing on special teams. That would have sent the wrong message to the Patriots and the rest of this roster. At the same time, if you look at it objectively last night, given how few answers the Patriots had for Nick Foles and the precision of that passing game, you do wonder why Malcolm Butler never got an opportunity. Even though they had some players that really improved throughout the course of that game, there were obviously pass game struggles, and it's hard to figure that a player that played 97.8% of the defensive snaps couldn't have helped to provide a bit of resistance, because really what it came down to, the Eagles made one more defensive play than the Patriots last night. Yeah. You wonder if 21 could have helped the team in white last night.
Yeah, I think that number says it all, because certainly it wasn't schematic. Butler led the NFL in defensive snaps in the last 3 seasons. Field, back shortly to talk about Nick Foles and his future in Philadelphia. Thanks.
All right.
You won't break me, take my pain from me, save my soul for me, 'cause I'm alone to see.
Boy, that's just Cleveland's most recent blowout loss. In fact, it was their 4th loss by more than 20 in the last 4 weeks. The first one was at the Timberwolves back on January 8th, lost by 28 in that game. In the Cavs' very next game, they lost by 34 at the Raptors. It was the first time in LeBron's career that his team lost back-to-back games by at least 25 points. Then, at home against the Thunder on January 20th, Cleveland lost 148 to 124. The 148 were the most points ever allowed by a LeBron James team. Fast forward to Saturday. The Cavs losing by 32 against the Rockets, the 5th largest loss of LeBron's career. Cleveland now has a negative point differential for the season. Our NBA insider, Brian Windhorst, joins us now. Brian, it seems like we're always doing a little bit of hand-wringing over the Cavs in the middle of the winter. Is this time qualitatively different than years past?
Yes, David, because while the Cavs certainly have issues with their roster right now, they have defensive challenges, they have some health challenges with Kevin Love going out, and they have some structural challenges. We also now have the increasing pressure about LeBron James's future. And while this isn't causing J.R. Smith to miss three-pointers or causing players to miss rotations, really what's going on is a lack of communication between Dan Gilbert and LeBron James, and that's really at the root of this. LeBron has become more and more frustrated as the season goes along with the Cavs' lack of interest in investing and improving this roster. Gilbert has continued to be frustrated that LeBron will not commit beyond this season, and nobody in the organization is bringing the two sides together. And what you have right now is LeBron, his play and his focus and his effort level is eroding to levels I've never seen before. David, he's been guilty of pouting in the past. One of the examples I give is when his first year back in Cleveland, when he was frustrated with Coach David Blatt and he was frustrated with some of his teammates. He ended up going to Miami while he was on injury treatment. But he was injured then. Right now, he's healthy, and that doesn't explain why he is not giving his maximum effort. And I really do think it's a lot about the future as well as the present.
This sounds inconceivable, maybe even silly of me to ask this. Trade deadline is 3 days off. I know LeBron has a no trade. Is there any discussion whatsoever about perhaps dealing LeBron James?
Not right now, because right now, as far as I know, Dan and LeBron are not communicating, which is a problem. This was probably a better discussion for last summer when Kyrie Irving made his trade demand. And I think it could be a discussion for this summer because, David, one thing I want to point out, LeBron has an option in his contract, just like Chris Paul did. We all talked all last year about Chris Paul being a free agent. Then in the end, he asked for a trade and was traded and picked up his option. if the Cavs and if Dan Gilbert and LeBron can't get on the same page, and I'm not even talking about a peace, a ceasefire, getting on page for a ceasefire, I don't know how this is going to turn out, and I would say that all options would be on the table, but much more likely for that to happen this summer than this week.
Okay, really interesting discussion about what's going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brian Windhorst always tuned in. Brian, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, that's what's going on with the Cavs. How about the Eagles? Will Nick Foles be an Eagle next season? Carson Wentz will eventually be healthy. So what's the play for Philadelphia? Our insiders explain what could happen to the Super Bowl MVP next on SportsCenter.